It's hard to imagine Grayton Beach, Florida without the Red Bar. Heck, for locals and loyal fans, it's hard to imagine the universe without the Red Bar. Nonetheless, on February 13th, 2019, right around daybreak, my friend Patrick Hoffner texted me these startling images. Was this the end of an era for our little beach town? Was resurrecting this historic building even an option? And even if it was, how could it ever possibly feel the same? None of us knew the answers, of course, but the owners of the Red Bar, brothers Ali and Philippe Petit, were determined not to let their decades-long legacy simply go up in flames. They immediately resolved to rebuild and to do everything they possibly could to one day reunite the more than 100 Red Bar employees that they now call family.
Started with text, and then the phone rang, and a friend of mine named Grant Blackwell, who lives in Great Beach, Grant,
Mayor of Grayton,
Mayor of Grayton, you know, and I got he told me, he said, get here now, man, your restaurant's on fire. And at that point, you're thinking the fire, you know, be the kitchen, should be a wing of the place, you know, it was just horrific, you know. By the time we got here at 5:30 a.m., it was completely engulfed in fire and flames, and it's just really just a painful moment in time. When I got a phone call, I was in Belgium. Right, like Ali said, it was at the end of the winter. It was the last weekend of doing refreshing, you know, touch-ups and stuff like that. And so I took that time to visit my mother right before the season starts. Mm-hmm. And I was there 2 days, and so we have a 7-hour gap there. We're ahead of 7 hours, so it was 1:30 in the afternoon exactly. And I was actually going to get some flowers for my mom and then for her aunt that we were visiting that night. And then Stacy called me. Stacy, a long-time bartender, has been with us forever.
Yeah.
And Stacy calls me and said the restaurant's on fire. And at first I thought it was a bad joke.
I got my kids to the bus stop, and then I came back, and a friend of mine sent me a text saying Red Bar's on fire. And I was sure.
Yeah, right.
sure. And then I looked at my Facebook, and it was. And I mean, it's too shocking to cry.
Yeah.
Just shocked.
First thing that we thought about was the staff. Mm-hmm. And the staff that was, you know, count on us as Kali provided the magic of the Red Bar and all this. Now they're going to be right before the season. They're going to be without a job, and so you know we said, what can we do for them? And thankfully, we have people like you and several people around the town that put up some fundraisers, and it was just amazing. And the outpouring of love and support from businesses, from people just sending a check, a $10 check, and all this. And all this was really heartwarming.
Well, I mean, the Red Bar for me is kind of like, you know, Grayton's downtown 30A, and the Red Bar is kind of like the place, you know. And for probably, 35 years, I've been sneaking in or going to that place and listening to great music, and there's been amazing people that have played there. But it's not just that. I mean, it's all the great employees that are here today, and they're just so good to the community.
You have created an establishment that is the heartbeat of this community, and everyone's rallying around it. To see today this fundraiser, see people get together, it means so much to so many people.
It's a big loss, but you know we're here for them, and they're going to rebuild it and get it right back.
Thanks again for everybody to make it happen, to support. Yeah, we're going to be back soon. You're going to see us at the new Red Bar.
You were very quick, very fast to say we're rebuilding, right? And you had the foresight to do something a decade ago that really enabled you to move at a speed which probably has not been accomplished. What was that decision you made?
You know, in 2007, we renewed we renewed our lease, and at one point we didn't know if we were gonna be here. There were for a moment the thought of us maybe going elsewhere, and we've always loved the building, and we thought, well, if we
Have a backup plan.
correct, you know, because the building is so special, we always, you know, thought that we could perhaps build another one somewhere else. Forward, we worked out a deal. Obviously, we renewed the lease and worked out the deal with the landlords. Forward, 13 years later, the restaurant's on fire, and now we're sitting on the blueprints done by a local architect named Jonathan Hempel with Boheme Design in Rosemary Beach. Jonathan's a close friend, and you know, sitting on those plans was everything, because to be able to submit plans right away to the building department, and they were so kind. Immediately,
Right.
exactly, you know.
So famously, you've kept everything consistent except the bathrooms, and of course, the bathrooms are now brought up to code, and they're handicap accessible, and they were always a fun, eclectic mix of curiosities in there. And having taken a peek now at the new bathrooms, I'll say they're larger, but they're still going to be just as eclectic and bohemian as ever.
You know, that's very much the intention throughout the place, you know, is to bring those touches that made the place from a visual aspect, you know, interesting and bohemian. Absolutely love that, you know, description. So yes, it's all being done. And the best part is this, for instance, the bathroom was done by Billy Gaffrey 25 years ago. She's coming back in to do their touches.
The finishings,
you know?
no
yes,
kidding.
you know,
That's great.
Brian Hand just painted the front door. I mean, this is the original guy in 2003, I believe he built the first one.
I started working here in 1998. I had sketch pads and I thought to myself, if I ever got a chance to paint the Red Bar front door, so I drew out this Ganesh, very similar to it. And then so fast forward to 2005, I've been painting for 3 years, and I was getting ready to go to Belgium, and Foley's rebuilding the door, and right the night before he leaves, I'm like, can I paint the door? He goes, yeah, he didn't even ask me what it was going to be. I was like, I already drew this out, you know, 7 years ago. He's like, do it, and I'll see it when I get back. Well, the drumsticks are always a tribute to John Jabbo Starks,
Of course.
our hero, father and a friend to all of us here.
Yeah. This has to be one of the most photographed doors in the world. I mean, it really has to be.
I would say this is probably up there.
The attention to detail is just unbelievable, and so for people who are going to be coming in, I think they're going to be pretty shocked at how familiar this is, because I think we all kind of have heard it's going to look the same, feel the same, but really this is a strange sense of deja vu.
You know, and coming from you means a lot, because I know you're well traveled, and I know you speak from the heart. I mean, that was our intention, and sometimes these types of projects, you know what the outcome's going to be like, and I think it really turned out wonderful. I mean, the woods that we chose, the finishing, that the craftsmen that put it together really went out of their way to recreate that antique feel. It's not an easy thing to do, because you can quickly look like a movie set or look fake.
Yeah.
But none of this wood's actually probably older than the wood that was here in the first place.
Now, one of the things that really I would have to believe saved you guys is that your dad is an avid garage sale, yard sale aficionado.
You
if
know,
will.
absolutely. I mean, you know, the decor part was probably the least of our worry.
Because you have...
Yeah, because see, people often, how would I say this, thought that they're irreplaceable, the pieces that we have lost. But there's so much vintage out there, and for my father especially, it's a lifestyle to look for this stuff. I mean, this is something he does, and I do it as well, not near as much as he does, but it's fun, it's a hobby. So therefore, we had accumulated a variety of items, you know, just for the sake of a collection, for the sake of perhaps changing eventually. Believe it or not, the
Rotating
Red Bar,
things
exact
out,
things
yeah.
decayed, and or things get sometimes stolen, you know. So you know, so that really came handy. Obviously, with it being completely gone. My father and I never had a doubt. You know, our fear was rebuilding the place. But as far as the decor, posters, the vintage aspect of I think people are going to be really pleased, with what they're going to see.
What do you think is the magic behind this place? Why do you think it's resonated with so many people, not just locals, but everyone who comes here leaves with an impression of this area, and the Red Bar is permanently part of that impression? Why is that?
Yeah. The secret to our success is the people that work here. Everything else is a prop in here, and they're very important props. But the people that work here really care, and I think that's probably the hardest thing to achieve in any business, to be consistent, to be available, to be there. And for 25 years, live music every night just about, kinds of people serving you. And then you throw in all these wonderful touches, the velvets and the reds, and then you have sort of this marriage of talent, if you will. And so really, I'd start with the staff, us that are here, and, to be available to the people, and the music. To be according to Dr. Beach, on the #1 beach in America.
Absolutely. That doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. The town couldn't have been more welcoming for my style. In 1995, it was either you went fine dining or you went to a super casual beach shack. The middle of the road was not really available at that time. And I think I really covered that niche with this. You could come in here and get a chicken pane at 2 a.m., and listen to rock and roll music. And it just evolved into...
It was a juke joint.
It's really a bar that became a restaurant here.
Yeah.
It really was a bar that became a restaurant.
A bar that became a restaurant that became a landmark, employees that became a family, and a community that just wasn't ready to let the old girl go. Whether the Red Bar's magic lies in her chalkboard menu, her music, her bohemian beach shack vibe, or in the sugar white sand that's tracked in by all the bare feet that cross through her doors, one thing is certain: the Red Bar will no doubt continue to serve as the soul of Florida's scenic Highway 30A for many, many more years to come.